would like to welcome Miss Patricia Carragon, a wonderful poet with all kinds of experience writing a wonderful array of different types of poetry. I've had the pleasure of hearing her work for, I guess a little more than a year now, and it's amazed me every time. Patricia, welcome. Now, I have some questions for you. And let's see, here we go. First question. When did you start writing?
Originally, I did as a kid, but I wasn't. My mother would say, always showed, oh, excuse me, let me just.
No problem.
It's a spam call. I just, reason why I have that landline is to find my phone, or sometimes my family calls on it, but I get mostly spam things and I can't block them on this so-called device that they gave me.
No problem. We can just start again. The beauty of editing is that we can do anything.
I'm going to disconnect that thing.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. But days, you don't hear anything. And then all of a sudden, bing, 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 bing.
Absolutely.
Disconnected. I don't want to hear a ding. Okay, here I am.
Well, Patricia, okay. I have some questions for you. I typically ask these of all my poet guests. First question is, when did you start writing?
I was a kid. I was inspired. My brother started the chess club. It's a savings club. You know, we get birthday money, confirmation money, community money, blah, 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 blah. And we put it together, or sometimes we get gifts, whatever. And we put it in our treasure chest, and my brother decided to do a club. We dress up as pirates once a year, but then he got kind of bored. But then I kind of like took over, and I started to do like this mini newspaper. I liked writing things and little stories and do little drawings, but I prefer the writing part. However, when it came to like school assignments, my everything with, outside of the church's club, my mother would say, show it to your brother, my much older brother. So after a while, ding, 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 I thought I was inferior. So I gave up on that.
Was your brother a supporter of your writing?
He was busy into his own schoolwork. Gotcha. Into college.
Gotcha.
So I put it aside. It was art, and I was a failed artist. I couldn't make it, and I went into advertising as a on the non-creative end, the operationals,
management, that sort of thing.
Management. I went up into management. So, long story short, but that's behind now because they ditched me. I don't want to mention the name of the organization I work for because I don't want to get sued.
No problem. Yeah, I spent a lot of time doing marketing writing myself, graphics, promotional stuff. Mm-hmm. And when I first started, I also started writing as a kid, and I found it so difficult to write marketing. What I had to do is I had to write the cynical version first, then I could write the bullshit. At I had to get that cynical piece
exactly
out of my mind.
Exactly, that's what happened. But when I was in management, I decided to join St. Bartholomew's Church, an Episcopal church on East 50th Street in Manhattan. And I met some friends, and we started the brunch. I started part of the cultural community, whatever, going around the city doing activities, and I branched down to the brunch and fun social activities community. It wasn't really part of St. Bartholomew's Church, but it was like an offshoot, and then it became my brunch and fun. And I started writing little ditties because when you work in advertising, you see the ads and then you pick up on what you read at work, and
Yeah,
then you apply it to what you do outside of your job. So
absolutely.
I noticed, I said, this is fun. One of the people I was working with, I said, excuse me. And she was like correcting everything. I said, stop this. I mean, you delegated this to me and I want to do it my way. And I
Absolutely.
explained to her, I mean, what's the sense of delegating jobs when you try to rewrite the whole thing? That's not right. It's
Absolutely.
not your thing, it's my thing.
Absolutely. I agree
Came
completely.
on, and then when when Jackie O died, I wrote something, at your hand in, whatever, at the, you leave like little things you send in at the, when you walk by the casket, all that, whatever. Been so long ago. And I said, beauty never dies. It just moves to another level. And I read it to one of my friends at St. Bartholomew's Church. She says, that's poetry. I said, I don't write poetry. She said, that's poetry. That was the late 90s. So that was the
Sure.
mid 90s. And that slowly but surely, 90s, 97, I read my first poem, I got my first poem. It was like more like Hallmark card kind of stuff. But
Sure.
then
Sure.
I developed, and then after 9/11, boom. And how did I get into poetry? One of my friends at St. Bartholomew's Church, she moved out to the West Coast. But she said, you have to go to the open mics. I said, what? I have to read in front of people? I don't read in front of people. I get nervous because I used to stutter as a kid, but I overcame that. It took me a long time. But I said, I have to be in front of an audience. And I had I went to the knitting factory a few times, but I wasn't officially on the circuit until after 9/11. I mean, the last time I was at the knitting factory, it was a week before 9/11. And I
Wow.
had a bad feeling like something was horrible in that area. That was that lower Manhattan. I said, I
Uh-huh.
better something was telling me, get the hell out of there. Hurry up to the train. Because I felt very nervous, very uncomfortable there. And sure enough, about 6 days later, September 11th came. And I didn't go back to doing anything with poetry until later on. Another friend said, well, you have to do this. In New York Magazine, there was an article about all the open mics in the city. In those days, there were a lot of open mics, especially Friday was the big thing.
Yeah.
And nobody did Sundays in those days. It was rare. So it was 2003. I went down there after work. My buddies, my coworkers were a little late. They came when the show was over because they were in the copy division.
Uh,
I had to read two of the poems to them, and Jackie Sheila.
yeah.
She passed away not too long, several years ago. But she was in there. In those days, I wrote down. I didn't write down Carragon. I wrote down my legal name.
Ah.
So I said, "Can I?" And she said, "No, no, no, no. You can't change your name." And I got scared of her. I was like, I was terrified of Jackie. And going to Cornelia Street was going into a lion's den for someone who doesn't have the real experience of being a chronic open micer.
Yeah.
Because when you had people they're reading, I go, I was terrified, but I managed.
Good for you. Good
But
for you.
I was a little loud in those days, but because I was picking up what other people were doing there, I was
Sure.
trying to like fit in. And then the rest was history. And then I slowly met Sue Polo and Roxanne Hoffman, who I'm still friends with today. Roxanne Hoffman is my what they call my Zoom Meister for Brownstone Poets. And then I think it was 2005, I started Brownstone Poets. I think, yeah, 2005.
Good for you. Good for you. Okay, my next question. When you were beginning your I would call it self-acknowledged writing, Okay, when you admit to yourself you're a writer, were there authors who you admired? Were there authors who inspired you? What poets did you admire then?
Not too many. It was just basically Emily Dickinson. My style was like I used to capitalize each sentence, but I got away from that. I mean, it was like Emily Dickinson and this whoever was at the readings. You just listen and in a way, you like work shopping in your brain when you
Sure.
when you go to readings and you test out the material and you get the reaction and somehow you feel like there are things that need to be corrected after you read it. That's why in the house I like to read the stuff several times and I look at it several times in order for it to be good. And it doesn't always work. It's not 100% perfect, but I'm always quick. I'm like the queen of the edits.
There you go. Um, when you started performing poetry, you said in early 2000s.
No, it was September 2003. There was a mistake in my first book. There was from someone who wrote the in the preface. It wasn't caught by the publisher, so it was corrected on the second group. Whatever. It
Have
was
you
it was
seen?
late, it was late September
Okay.
2003. That's technical. That's when I started. It was the fall.
Have you seen the Zooms? I mean, obviously now post-COVID, the Zooms are in large part more online, or at least there's a lot of online Zooms as opposed to live Zoom, live poetry readings. Um, have you seen the scene evolve from those days in the early 2000s to today?
Yeah, I know. I used to start with Evie Ivy. She was at my co-hostess. I met her at the Green Pavilion. She, also the Mark and Star. She used to do a lot of those readings there. And I learned from her. And then after a while, it was like, we all have our ways, we need to like branch out, when you have too much on your plate and that's it, she had too much, it
Yeah.
was a learning experience. Maybe I should have started later. Maybe I was a little too swift in starting. Maybe I should have waited till like 2008. But
Live
like
and learn.
live and learn. And I even had Brownstone Poets twice a month, which was overkill. And I didn't put out my first publication until 2007. That was like the staples. Used to staple at work.
Sure, sure.
Later on at home until 2016, I started doing online through Amazon. It was originally Create Space, and then it became a Kindle Direct. It's
Okay.
so much better when you do
Let
it
me ask you
online.
this. Um, Now, there are a range of poetic styles. Some people wait for inspiration. They think that forcing it is a bad thing. Other people take the attitude that if I write every day, I'll get better, whether I have inspiration or not. So this way, when I get inspiration, I'll be better. Where do you fall on that continuum from forcing
I
yourself to write to waiting?
I wait. First of all, I don't believe in writer's block, and I don't go along with the idea that you have to write every day. My muse knows when I'm ready. I'm a very busy person. I'm not work. I'm not work. I'm not. I don't have a job right now, but I do like odd jobs,
Sure.
mostly canvassing and little stuff online. And so it's sporadic because I can never go back to retail again. Long story.
I
You want to
bet.
sell, want to sell yourself to the heart to the soul to the devil? Go work in retail.
I've never done retail, standing at a counter kind of stuff. I've retailed sound engineering, lighting design. I've retailed artistic work, but I've never done sales per se.
I done
I've avoided
sales.
that.
I done sales and also worked in the on the office and on the managerial and I can't deal with this very toxic environment, and I cannot do it, especially when you're on lockdown. You do the soul searching. You do the night of the soul. What do they call it? The dark night of the soul. You go in the purge. like time to get rid of the garbage that's inside of you. I said, I cannot go back to that again.
Okay.
Even publicity, I can't do that. I can't. It's
Okay.
not me anymore because I can't deal with it. I'm a different person. I changed radically, especially since 2020.
I had a cousin that was in the car repair business, and he said he really loves car repair. He just hates the people.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Are there themes or topics that you find yourself addressing again and again?
Mostly, okay, on the trains, when I travel on the trains or when I walk around, I take pictures and then I sit there. I have a little pad. I jot things down. Haiku is the easiest thing for me to do. If you don't feel like doing long poems, do haiku. Do haiku. It just pops out of me. And recently, thank you, Ron Bremer, who's now going to be who's now the guest poet for my upcoming Brownstone Poets anthology, which I'm waiting for the artwork as we speak. I hope I get it out this month, definitely by September. People are waiting for it. It should have been out a month ago, but I can't go there. I need the artwork for the cover because
Okay.
I have the interior done. It's just the cover. So thank you, Ron Bremer. He's the one who suggested for me to submit to, this is back in 2018. This is just before the pandemic, just before the avalanche of poetry came out during the pandemic. But he said, submit to Jerry Jazz Musician as an online journal that's jazz related poems. So I said, okay, I will do that. But I don't write jazz poetry. He said, try it. So Stranger on the Shore became my first poem and it's been like, I've been shooting out since. And that's another thing. I have that manuscript I'm still waiting for some editorial stuff to be done before I send it out to the world. So I'm in a waiting process right now.
Okay.
And I have more stuff coming. I have more haiku books coming up. I have another caution manuscript I have to get back to. It's because it keeps evolving because I keep writing new stuff.
Do you write social commentary stuff?
Oh, I'll be playing them tonight. So no music related. I generally do a lot of music poetry. I listen to on YouTube, and I close my eyes, and I get like these pictures, like movie scenes. I listen to the words over and over again, and then something happens. I get the scene in my head. I like visualize it first before it goes into paper, and that's
Okay.
my favorite app, and that's my favorite tool to write.
Okay. Next question. Do you feel that poets or writers in general have a responsibility to address societal concerns?
They should, and especially now. It's not getting better. It's getting worse. Like, get the hell out to vote. I mean, I don't want Project 2025. As a woman, I find it offensive, and I don't want to be a part of the Handmaid's Tale here. I mean, a lot of things are going on. I mean, you can't sit back. Originally, when I was a kid, I grew up in a family where nobody wanted to do jury duty. My father did. Nobody wanted to vote. Nobody gave a damn. There'll be others voting. The world's going to hell. If everybody said that, stay home, we'd be up the creek.
I had a very sad experience when I was very young. I was just a child, and I was at my grandmother's house, and I was looking at their wedding picture. She got married in 1922. Okay.
Mhm.
And I thought, I was reading my history. I love history. I read history for fun. And I was reading about the women's suffrage movement and how women got the right to vote in that same time frame, right? So I said to my grandmother, who was just a giving soul, helped her neighborhood, helped her church, a leader in her community. And I said, Grandmother, what was it like that first time to go to the voting booth and, register your opinion. My God, that must have been so amazing. And she said, you know, Ricky, I've never voted. And I said, my God, Grandma, you're such a good person. You have such a love for people in your community. How come you never vote? She said, oh, Ricky, I don't think I know enough to vote. And I said, my God, Grandma, I wish more people thought that or thought the opposite, because people like you should vote. People who care should vote. You know, you may not know the agricultural products of Lithuania, but for God's sakes, you know what good people are. And I couldn't agree with you more. It's very important. And I cut my teeth writing during the anti-Vietnam War days. And I wrote against the war. I wrote against racism. I wrote against sexism. I participated in those rallies, those marches. I went to DC to protest the Vietnam War. I was even drafted. So that's when I cut my teeth as a writer and as a performing poet. So I have a lot of desire to speak to societal matters. Thanks. Okay,
Yeah,
next question. Okay, go ahead.
I didn't start getting political until I joined the circuit, the poetry circuit, because you listen and it woke, you know, you become more woke. That's how, because I was like, because growing up in my family, you know, we were Democrats, but, you know,
Low key, yeah.
very low key.
Well, I've really enjoyed all the political work I've heard you read. It's been phenomenal and right on. Next question. If a young person came up to you and said, you know, I have this urge to write, but, you know, people don't, you know, poets aren't respected. Is it worthwhile living a life in poetry? Is it worth writing things down and sharing them? What do you say?
I say just get it out, you know, don't wait, you know. I mean, poetry now is making a comeback because a lot of people, Gen Zs, are like going into it now. I mean, you go to the book bar on the East Village. Well, I haven't been going there too much because man, it's too damn hot. But you got a lot of Gen Zs there. Very intelligent, very articulate. I mean, people should not knock Gen Z. Listen to them. I mean, I agree with them what they say about the 9-to-5 world. I've been through it, and never again. I'm not gonna go through that crap. I mean, they suck everything out of your soul on these so-called you know, we're in late stage capitalism right now.
Yeah, yeah. I spent my most of my last 20 years in late stage capitalism working for a company that pretended to not have any employees. We were all contractors, and they got away with murder. And
yeah, they didn't give you health care or anything. Yeah, they
nothing,
suck you in.
Nothing at all. But let's go back to poetry. Finally, the last question, and this is one, there's a wide range of opinion on it, but I'm curious, is narrative important to good poetry?
Yeah, any form is good. I tend to be free verse. I tend to write prose and narratives. I do whatever I feel like it. Whatever the muse instructs, I listen. That's it. Listen to what's inside.
Absolutely.
Thanks. That's what I should have done. I should have done that years ago. But no, I mean, it's like they say instincts is anti-logic. That's BS. I could have gotten myself out of a lot of hot water situations if I would have gotten out of it if I only listened to my instincts.
Absolutely.
There's logic, and there's natural and inborn logic.
I had a daughter working in the marketing department at the Financial Times, and one of the responsibilities she had was to do their multimedia presentations for their corporate meetings. She was scheduled. They would fly her from Boston to New York to do the meetings. She was scheduled to come to New York to a meeting in the towers that day. And she called her boss and said, I can't go. I don't feel good. I don't feel right. I can't go. And that was the day of 9/11.
I'll
So
never
yeah.
forget what, yeah.
Okay.
I'll never forget that, because that was the day I was at work and I wasn't allowed to go home. In those days, I lived in Astoria. I had to cross the 59th Street, the Queensboro Bridge. And I wasn't allowed to leave. I said, listen, I don't want to die here in Midtown. I want to die in my own home. Let me go. Oh, it's going to be too crowded. I said, excuse me. And then the nerve to be called back to work the next day. I had post-traumatic syndrome. They had a psychologist, what do you call it? A psychologist
Yeah.
come in for a group of us. But I didn't want to continue because that would work against me for my job.
Yeah.
I was afraid. I could have used it.
I hear you.
Because I went away because everybody was acting crazy. Even the day I was supposed that Friday, it was raining, and security made me open up my suitcase, and I was going away. I went up to Rhode Island, and with a friend of mine, and it was I had to do chores like 5 different times. They're saying, "Oh, you gotta be strong, gotta be strong." Excuse me. Don't tell me I have to be strong. The whole attitude is toxic. Like you have to like hold it in, be strong, gotta be strong. Well, I'm strong because I fight back. I'm strong because I speak my goddamn freaking mind. That is strength.
Right on. Right on. Well, now the fun part. Now I get to ask my favorite poet to talk about her own poetry, to read some of the work that she wants to share.
Okay, I got a lot of stuff. This is what started off for the jazz poetry. Stranger on the Shore, inspired by Acker Bilke. Pinot Noir and jazz sang the blues on this cold mid-February night. I refilled my glass, let thoughts slow dance with the clarinet. As I lounged in midnight hues, the old LP played Stranger on the Shore. I took another sip, watched the glass fall. As the track turned bluer, thoughts bled Valentine red. When the record ended, all colors faded to black. That was for the Valentine's edition in Jerry Jazz Musician back in 2018.
Very nice. Very nice.
Now I'm gonna read, okay, from Finishing Line Press, Coming Home. If I came home, would I find our make-believe kids, our non-existent pets, our thoughts, our passion, our past, our lives, ourselves? But when I did, no one was at the stoop or entrance, or in the hallway, or by the kitchen table, or near the bathroom sink, or sitting on the sofa, or resting on the bed, or standing by the shade. But your absence was everywhere. It even took over the lease. And the next poem I'm going to read is also from Innocence, but I updated it to fit the situations that are going on right now.
Cool.
This is one of my political poems.
Okay.
One of my first and many I'm going to read today. The Palace. The palace became a wreck in seconds. A child was caught in between the bricks, but he left the scene with minor injuries. Yet the palace was not destroyed, nor was the child hurt. In fact, there was no palace or child present. The palace was never built since there were no blueprints. There were no architects summoned to conceive the idea to build it. The child was never born since there was no conception. There was no love to build a family that would include him. Imagination wrote this story to disturb my mind. Yet I read about it on the internet today. The palace became a wreck in seconds. A child was caught in between the bricks, but he left the scene with minor injuries. But some people say that the palace was not destroyed, nor was a child hurt. In fact, they say that the palace was never built since there were no blueprints or architects summoned to conceive the idea to build it. And the child was never born since there was no conception or love to build a family that would include him. Yet, the palace did become a wreck in seconds, and the child was caught in between the bricks, and he did leave the scene with minor injuries. And so it was, according to the internet and my mind. But the palace was not destroyed, nor was a child hurt. In fact, there was no palace or child present. The palace was never built since there were no blueprints. There were no architects summoned to conceive the idea to build it. The child was never born since there was no conception. There was no love to build a family that would include him. Imagination wrote this story to disturb me during sleep. I woke up and turned on the television. A house in Gaza became a wreck in seconds. A child was caught in between the bricks and was crushed to death.
Wow. Very good. Very
It
good.
was originally about Beirut, but that was back in 2017. But everything's changed now.
Sure.
And now here's another more political stuff on the Lamentations. Our Lamentations try to stop the madness, offer comfort to innocents like Amir and Aisha. The neighborhood is under attack. Explosions and gunfire nonstop. No place is safe when sanctuaries no longer exist. Their home, another statistic in rubble. Amir prays, limps behind his mother. A kitten clings to his chest. His sister Aisha gasps for life. Her mother carries her, cries for Allah's mercy. Grief stains her soot-covered face. We can't hear their lamentations. Bullets and bombs still control what the journalist sees. We pray again and again for the madness to clear, for olive trees to bloom, for children to be free from ash.
Bravo. Bravo.
This is back in 2020. Thank you, Trump. Inspired by Regina Spektor, The Trapper and the Furrier. 2020, a strange, strange year, like a time bomb waiting for breaking news to strike. Beasts in filthy cages, pellets and food, pets from puppy mills, children sleep in soiled cages, family separation, asylum still out of reach. Dystopian predictions, dystopian facts. Big business declares war on its workers. Unions, wages, healthcare live at triage. News speak from the White House twists failure into praise, fiction into history. Our self-proclaimed leader plays mobster roulette. The press, elections, and laws face execution. He gives carte blanche to an alien dressed as the flu. And the sick keep getting sicker, with too many fevers, chills, coughs, and losses of smell and taste. Death toll rising, ghost towns replace cities, bodies overflow morgues, the homeless live underground. Tests and cures not fast enough, business as usual for corporate generals. 2020, a strange, strange year. People shut indoors, waiting, not knowing what to believe. Their time bombs not knowing when to explode.
Wow. Very good.
Oh, there's more here. You ready?
Please, please.
I'm on fire right now.
Good, good.
The End of the World, inspired by the song by Skeeter Davis. In a dream, her parents' wedding photo burned slowly. Their ashen marriage vaporized in life and death. A grayish puddle formed a stain on the chest of drawers. She woke up and went about her day, listened to an old song, The End of the World. Depression read her tarot cards. A heart bled, pierced by 3 swords. A woman tied and blindfolded, surrounded by 8 swords. A woman wept in bed, 9 swords hung above her wall. Her futility walked in a parent's shoes. The world didn't care if her life was going nowhere. The sun and stars went into hiding. 2 mourning doves stopped singing. Islands of plastic floated in the sea. Bad news kept recycling. The world still on suicide watch. On the news, there was another shooting. Children's hearts bled, pierced by 3 bullets. Justice tied and blindfolded, surrounded by 8 white men. Mothers wept in their beds. 9 AR-15s hung above their walls. Futility walked in American-made shoes.
Bravo. Bravo.
Oh, I'll take a little sip. There's more.
Please.
Ugh. Glass Roses, inspired by the Met Gala and J.G. Ballard's The Garden of Time. You can't wake up and smell the roses when they've turned to glass. Petals too showy, too insular, too inanimate, to feel and understand the world outside your garden walls. You, like those fake petals, struck your sculptured, bought and gaudy plumage of deceased birds. Wear diamonds faceted in blood and the silent screams of those who work to survive, not to live. Clothes studded in crystals scream, "Look at me," while another family moves to tent city. You admire expensive bag crafted from ice, while the children of Gaza gather rainwater to drink. Your extravagance wears designer rose glasses and earbuds, not seeing or hearing the approaching mob, the working poor who fight to keep a ceiling over their heads, stretch shrinking dollars at supermarkets and elsewhere, and American healthcare won't care if they get sick. Raising the living wage still won't cut it when political parties make Pinocchio promises before changing hands after Election Day. You smile and pluck another rose, but life is not a TikTok moment because not all influences are about self-absorbance. You can't stymie time when time must move forward. Your garden is dying faster than ever. You don't see that Gaia is crying while being engulfed in flames. We're waking up and taking to the streets, not accepting your bullshit and Hunger Games attitude, the brutality to quash our voices, the building of a new Gilead, the genocide of certain people by governmental decree. Soon you'll become calcified statues destined to overlook your destroyed garden, the crumbled walls of your fortress, while holding a broken glass of your once beautiful rose.
Wow. Awesome.
Oh.
Awesome.
Okay, 2 more before I get a little more quiet.
I'll share one with you when you need a break. No problem.
Okay, I got 2 more fire breathing ones, and then I'll shut
Good.
up.
No, that's fine.
Dust in the Wind. This was in Clockwise Cat a few years ago. The recession double-dipped into depression, led to a nervous breakdown. She lost her job, couldn't pay the rent or buy the meds for herself and her cat. Her 401k dwindled to dust. Her flute played an old Kansas tune for a windfall inside a cup. Her smile, a broken keyboard. Her cat purred in pain. Today, she disappeared into the earth and sky. By her filthy coat, a passing wind closed her cat's eyes. A homeless man raised his hands, recited from Genesis 3:19. For dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return.
Bravo.
And
Bravo.
last one, I'm really serious about suicide. I mean, people have negative attitudes towards those who commit suicide. It's so totally wrong. Suicide. She took her own life because she had no value. Her mother would criticize her for bad grades and sloppy penmanship, even for not liking dolls and dresses. Her father needed extra comfort and told her to keep it quiet or else. Her hair, body, and clothes became a schoolyard joke, and the teacher hid behind blinders and earplugs. Her college degree, an expensive paper paid by a bank loan, a high price for not fitting in with company culture. She never did get that promotion. Her date slipped something into her drink. She woke up in an alley with clothes ripped, her vagina bleeding. The blame would be hers, not his. Her first miscarriage led to another and another. Or did the rumors of infertility make her feel less than a woman? Her husband grew tired of her, divorced her, took the boys and house as well. The job market more dismal after staying home to raise the kids. Her cancer ate her breasts and uterus. Still hungry, it spread to her intestines. Her attempts to rebuild her life backfired. Even her talents went astray. Her only accomplishment was poverty. Her face, invisible since puberty, became a roadmap to nowhere, and love couldn't find her, or did it forget her name? Her golden years, a list of losses to outnumber her age, but not the pills she had to take. The list could go on. The reason was hers, not ours. Her silent screams were real, and we never paid attention because suicide is a dirty word in an even dirtier world. Who are we to judge and toss the first stone when she is now free and no longer in pain? Thanks.
Beautiful. Very powerful. My own father chose to end his life. And his second wife and her friends and family were very judgmental that he had made that decision. And I chose instead to celebrate him in my eulogy, saying, he was the kind of person that tried to make people happy. He told jokes all the time. He was an uplifting person. And I think we should celebrate people, not mourn them. And in large part, they looked at me like, how come you're not sad? How come you're not, feeling very bad that he had done this? And I said, I can't judge his action. I don't judge his action. I know what he was going through was a lot of pain. He had a bad cancer diagnosis. And I don't argue with his decision, but I will celebrate the life that he lived. And I think that's a gentler course, perhaps, but I think it's the honest one for me. Let me share a couple of my pieces with you. I think one or two of these may just make you smile. After writing a series of rather pessimistic political poems, a friend of mine said, "Rick, geez, write something positive for God's sakes." And I said, "Sure, I'll do that." And I had just been listening to B.B. King and The Thrill Is Gone, and I wrote this sort of an homage to Mr. King. This is called Non-Disposable World. Picture it. A world without thermonuclear overkill. Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. A bomb after all the bombs are gone. Too far, Mon? Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. A world not holding its breath at the edge of death, the toxic waste, the chemical taste of food, in money only good? Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. No mad generals with pointing digit poised, ears pinned, filled with noise of shouts of doubts. Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. A world after the end of biological weapons that fools would send, threaten. Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. No fanatic, dramatic, climactic climate war. No inversions or flood or earthquake cone crunch. Too much heat then or dry. No clouds in the sky. No rain with lunch. Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. No ray guns in space. No thistly, whistly missiles to bless the stratosphere torn or hot heads wind down. Burn after space war. Rafter thought it had meant quite a lot. Bomb lost its thrill? It will. It will. Picture it. The bomb's gone. The missile dismissaled. The sub decommissioned. No reactors out fishing. Picture it. The control board turned off. Did I hear a scoff? Bomb lost its thrill. It will. It will.
Mm, mm.
And this one is a little lighter hearted, but I think it expresses something that's very important to me. This is called "Let's Send the Rich into Space." They know their place high above the common trace. Let's send the rich into space. We'll spare 'em gladly, so far from our face, jeering madly. They've made their case. Let's send the rich into space. Let's send the rich into space. Let 'em make their own fresh air. They don't have to. I don't care. No use to fake it. Losing the rich won't make us sad, mad, or even glad, but it does scratch an itch. 'Cause all they had they stole, shaken and taken into their bulging pockets, breaking, scraping from the plates of our beloved poor, huddling and shivering outside their iron-hearted door. Don't let the door hit you from behind. Don't mind if the tiny door fits you. You won't have to share one drop of space. There's a lot, plenty of vacuum out there to spare. Let's send the rich into space, I swear. So you can keep your spoils and your buds the royals. Just so you're all amused, let me leave you these crumbs of clues. It might seem you have to polish your own muddy, bloody shoes. Yeah, about time you paid some dues. No longer will they walk among us. Send them out into the stars, far from us. They can take their yachts and their cars out in the stars. Let's send the rich into space, that place. Bless their darling arses. Let them dudge and dog. As each meteor passes, let them take their own poodles out for a willy. Well, oops, next stop, solar flares, silly. And the next spinning, grinning asteroid Tilly needs to build his lunch, or till the spaceship goes crunch. Let's send the rich into space. They can take all their sneering, their complacent careering, their vainglorious poses, right up their surgeon trim noses. They're just too good to tarry here. Why, then, my friend, it is to us the earth and its clear waters dear. You can take your servants if they're willing, no need to be waited upon, and get their fill in. And if you're a sage or some new age villain, let's send the rich into space. I'll chase. Let's let them spend their lives without their humble shutters drawn, in your royal progenies entitled classes at the schools they built and spun, where each dawn the royal clan skates right through the golden span. Then every man a king, every woman a queen, till no more knee shall bow, nor wait in distress ere now, or the scene of their mess. Just send the rich into space, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what's his name? Musk. Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Let him go to hell. Mr.
You
Twitter.
have
He
some more
killed.
to read here?
Oh, I got more. Okay. These are
Go
more
for it.
lighter.
Go for it.
Take 5, inspired by the Dave Brubeck Quartet. A humdrum weeks dies on Friday at 5. It's time to escape the glass tower, the typing pool, the gossiping and backstabbing, the too much coffee and cigarettes, the office jockey smirks, and the boss's sexual pantomime. But she needs to take 5, a few extra drags outside the powder room. Her job isn't over yet. She'll need a quick fix of rouge, powder, and lipstick, a copious dash of Yardley's English lavender. She'll diminish the Aquanet spritz. She'll adjust her pencil skirt before the elevator doors open. Feel freedom's hot breath beyond the revolving door. Ready to take 5, she lights another cigarette before boarding the IND to Greenwich Village and Harold, her bespectacled saxophonist from the Bronx. Youthful excitement meets the rush hour. Like drum beats, the subway's pulse moves fast, but happiness moves faster. It's getting late, and she must hurry. She's almost 25, and people will talk. If she doesn't settle down, retire a Smith Corona and business chic for Betty Crocker recipes and a gingham apron, raise 3 kids, and wait on a husband who might be late again. In a smoke-filled room, she forgets about her life, takes 5 for a cigarette, orders a glass of wine. She won't have to douche tonight. Harold has a rubber, worry-free sex until she meets the right one. But she's not a virgin and might have a problem. She takes 5 for another cigarette, drinks another glass of wine, listens to Harold play his sacks as he eyes the sassy brunette. Like drumbeats, her anxiety moves fast, but happiness moves faster. It's getting late and she must hurry. But a stranger comes to her table, lights a cigarette, and buys her a drink. The conversation is getting deeper, and life slows down for the next 11 hours. And how about some old film noir stuff? Yeah,
Absolutely.
this is all from the. I listened to these old songs on the YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
This one's inspired by Ella Fitzgerald. These foolish things remind me of you. At a bar off Waverly Place, I sat by myself, imbibed gin and tonic thoughts, stared at solitary candles, and coupled daffodils inside glass jars. The piano by the corner unoccupied. If the keys could recollect, would they play it against Sam? Me as Garbo, you as Crosby, never Bergman or Bogart? Cigarette butts kissed by lipstick. Reminiscence rose from ashtrays. The bartender knew better, paid attention to 20-somethings instead. My mind time traveled, an airline ticket to Capri, paradise lost on a sunny beach, gardenia essence hugged our pillows, that trip to Ile-de-France, the midnight train to Paris. Foolish things burned strawberry incense, my heart flew too high and fell. Loneliness lit another pipe dream and cigarette, your ghost reborn in smoke. Ne me quitte pas, inspired by Nina Simone. Letting go was hard to do. The misunderstandings, the times best forgotten, the triple swords embedded into their hearts. Happiness was born a caterpillar, destined to pass time inside a cocoon, emerge as fleeting moments before its demise. There were reasons for why this happened: the sudden planetary shift, the heart and mind in retrograde, the messed up soul contracts that got renewed. Exotic pearls made from rainwater and golden summer days couldn't support a fantasy world. Passion disappeared into ash. Songs and laughter disappeared into the sun. The sun disappeared with the queen. The king's shadow disappeared into darkness. History repeated itself, and the king must die again.
Very nice.
Stuff. Thank you. Let's move on away from jazz and feminist talk and all that stuff. We're going to move on to stuff. How about something about religion? Here we go. This already happened on November 4th, 2020. Armageddon paid New York a brief visit. It was not Friday the 13th, nor was Mercury in retrograde. Chocolate chip cookies had arrived at the Sweet Dreams Bake Shop. Several cupcakes feeling threatened by the appearance of illegal alien confections on their shelves swiftly mobilized units, putting aside past differences. The bakers and clerks tried to negotiate peace, promising the cookies were there to help promote business, not to compete or diminish the significance of the cupcakes. But the two head cake cupcakes wanted war and got it, although the majority voted against it. Something must have happened in the voting machines in the red section of the store. Warmonger Cakes attacked the cookies, tossing them like frisbees. Cookie chunks and crumbs scattered everywhere across the countertops and floors. Some peace-loving cupcakes formed a Red Cross unit and tried to rescue the broken cookies. Others marched against brutality. A cupcake militia was rushed in with mini rolling pins to keep the peace. Pastel and chocolate frosting splattered across walls, floors, counters, and windows. Battered cupcakes joined the ranks of broken cookies. Soon the shop looked like the result of a bad pillow fight or too much confetti at a birthday party. The bakers and clerks dumped behind one of the counters, called 911, and waited and waited and waited for a response. Meanwhile, anarchy happened. There was a split within the cupcake administration. The two head cupcakes were unceremoniously ousted into the garbage bin, and peace returned to the Sweet Dreams Bake Shop. Harmony was declared between the surviving chocolate chip cookies and cupcakes. The bakers and clerks, however, were not too pleased. 2 hours wasted, call for help, placed on hold, only to be disconnected. A day's business lost, and now a major cleanup tonight to get ready for tomorrow morning's reopening. The 13 stories, the baker's service of a lot of stuff. This is on Amazon. Poetry Prada, thank you, Roxanne Hoffman, for publishing this back in 2017. And now we're going to move on to also published by Poetry Prada. Thank you, Roxanne Hoffman. And thank you, thank you, Jack Cooper. Jack Cooper is also a one of the publishers for the Cupcake Chronicles and Meowku. Thank you, gang. Terrific people. I love them. Okay. Kerouac Kitty. Poems unravel like toilet paper. Kerouac Kitty. Poems unravel like toilet paper. Brooklyn Felines. Catitude comes with the territory. Brooklyn Felines. Attitude comes with a territory. Cheshire cat in black curls up, disappears up close, trash bag in disguise. Cheshire cat in black curls up, disappears up close, trash bag in disguise. Feline companions, cat ladies anonymous, men need not apply. Feline companions, cat ladies anonymous, men need not apply. This is for the Olympics. Tuxedo kitten climbs a chain link fence, makes that Olympian leap. Tuxedo kitten climbs a chain link fence, makes that Olympian leap. When daffodils bloom, pregnant calico sashay down garden catwalks. When daffodils bloom, pregnant calico sashay down garden catwalks. And unfortunately, I gotta keep reading this because you know who's running for president.
Oh, yeah.
If kittens could vote, Donald Trump's wig would be sold as kitty litter. If kittens could vote, Donald Trump's wig would be sold as kitty litter. Keep your pussy voting free. Kick him in the ballot. Keep your pussy voting free. Kick him in the ballot. Seeking sanity in the age of Trump. Cat meditation. Seeking sanity in the age of Trump. Cat meditation. Like cat's eyes, doors in a space open and shut. Like cat's eyes, doors in a space open and shut. The singing bowl cannot compete with the purring cat. The singing bowl cannot compete with the purring cat. Shavasana, cat whiskers brushing the human on the mat. Shavasana, cat whiskers brushing the human on the mat. And before I move on to more stuff, sleeping cat, her calm before the storm. Sleeping cat, her calm before the storm. And how about some brand new cat coo?
We got time for one more.
Okay, this is a cat coos. Here we come. Cat lady cat coo. Trumpsters beware. Hannibal Lecter is now a cat. Trumpsters beware. Hannibal Lecter is now a cat. Claws get ready. JD's leather couch is available. Claws get ready. JD's leather couch is available. Even a bear is recruiting cats to vote against MAGA jerks. Even a bear is recruiting cats to vote against MAGA jerks. Cat ladies unite. Your litter boxes are full. Dump Trump and Vance. Cat ladies unite. Your litter boxes are full. Dump Trump and Vance. And finally, childless cat ladies mash MAGA couch potatoes. Glass ceiling shatters. Childless cat ladies mash MAGA couch potatoes. Glass ceiling shatters.
Wonderful. Just absolutely marvelous. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It was great. The heat didn't get to me, so I'm okay. Have
Fantastic.
AC off.
My dear, thank you so much for joining me. And I know that the people who watch our show will be very, very pleased to hear your work. Thank you and keep up the good work.
And all my books on Amazon. This is my new novel. Came out during the pandemic, Angel Fire. Stephen King, Sex and the City. And this is last year's. I'm waiting for this year's to come. This is the Brownstone Poets anthology. It's on Amazon. And of course, Innocence, I read early. Innocence, oh dear. On Amazon.
Wonderful.
This is on Amazon.
Okay.
And this is on Amazon, poster product.
Well, thank you again, Patricia. Marvelous work. An honor to have you with us.
And it's a pleasure. And thank you for inviting me. This is great.
Okay. You have a good. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.